Hawks lays an egg by Butterfly Apocalypse on AO3. Episode 17, Chapter 7. Hawks was a mess. He was like post-breakup Elle Woods in Legally Blonde. His eyeliner was smudged helplessly around his face, running down his cheeks in dark seams. He made his way through several tubs of ice cream in the past few days. He even finally ate that salted caramel ice cream that had appeared in his freezer at some point. He didn't like salted caramel. He was pretty sure Dabi wouldn't have gotten salted caramel. Where did it come from? Didn't matter. It was gone now. So were the last of the leftovers of Dabi's cooking. It was pathetic how much that made him miss Dabi. There was nobody to go on food runs for him now. He finally gave in and texted Rumi when his cravings for chocolate cake became overwhelming. To Bugs Bunny. Can you please bring me some chocolate cake? He didn't want to text Rumi because he knew she would laugh at him for being this pathetic. And then she would be all, I told you so, over Dabi. Except that Hawks had been the one to kick him out. So technically, she hadn't been right about Dabi. From Bugs Bunny. What, is your villain boo not available to get you food? To Bugs Bunny. No, he's not. Broken heart. Rumi was more than correct than she knew. From Bugs Bunny. Oh no, but I'll be over. Rumi appeared, maybe 20 minutes later, with an entire chocolate cake, more ice cream, and makeup wipes. She knew him so well. As soon as he opened the door, she pulled him into a crushing hug. Hey, bud, you okay? Hawks pressed his face into her shoulder. No, he said, muffled. Hey, she said. Why don't we break into the cake and you can tell me what happened? And so, through a mouthful of chocolate cake, Hawks launched into his story. So, it was like 4 a.m. and he came back in from a walk and told me I couldn't be a hero anymore if I wanted to be a good dad to Omelette, because he wanted him to stay far away from hero/villain society as possible. And I told him I couldn't just stop being a hero, and that if he wanted to limit Omelette's exposure to the villain world, he should leave. At least, that's what he thought he was trying to say. Through the cake, it came out more like, Rumi nodded. Yeah, I'm not even gonna pretend I understood that. Care to repeat that? Minus the cake? Hawk swallowed hard. Did he actually want to repeat what he just said? No. Dabi wanted to run away together. He said, instead. Rumi's eyebrows shot to her hairline. Oh yeah? And you said no, so he left. Hawks grimaced. No. Rumi's brows frowned. You said yes? No. Hawks groaned. I said no and told him to get out. Rumi nodded slowly. As much as I approve of that decision, I have to say I'm not following your logic there. He wanted Omelette to be free from hero/villain society. I told him I couldn't just stop being a hero, but he was welcome to stop being a villain. And then he left, Rumi concluded. No. Hawks hated recounting this. He said he couldn't just stop being a villain. So I told him if he wanted to limit Omelette's exposure to being a villain, he should leave. And he took they out? Rumi asked. No. Really? Personality, Dabi hadn't done anything wrong. I threatened him with a feather and told him to leave. Rumi pursed her lips. And you fought him off? No. Hawk sighed. He just left. Huh. Rumi hummed. I cannot overstate how glad I am that you finally kicked that no-good out. But, Bud, you really liked him. Why? Hawk's lip quivered. he did really like Dabi. If he was being honest with himself, it was probably closer to love. In the moment, he would have never considered Dabi's offer to run away together. But in the past few days, the idea made his chest ache with want. Just the two of them with Omelette, somewhere without heroes or villains, without the commission, without the league. He knew it would never work, but he wanted it so badly. So why had he told Dabi to leave? He could never tell Rumi the truth, that he'd been distraught, that he had failed his mission. How would he be able to go back to the commission with a baby and no intel from the league? He was serious about his duty, and he took his failure as a personal blow. He'd been able to defeat his, fraternizing really hard, with Dabi when it was for the mission. Even when his own feelings crept into the occasion, they weren't hurting his mission. Now, it had all backfired, and it was his fault. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hawks failed his mission, and it was his own fault. He couldn't blame anyone else. But the worst part was that there was nobody he could talk to about it. Dabi, obviously, could never know Hawks was a double agent, and Hawks could never emphasize how important it was that he join the league without arising suspicion. Nobody in the commission knew about his relationship with Dabi, and Rumi, of course, couldn't know about the mission. So why had he threatened Dabi into leaving? No reason he could tell Rumi. I hadn't had my coffee yet, Hawk said. Huh. Rumi was clearly unconvinced, but she didn't press. And that's why you haven't texted him yet? Begging him to come back so you could talk things over rationally? Oh, speaking of which, phone? She held out her hand. What? Give me your phone, she said. Hawks obliged. He couldn't remember if he told Rumi his password, or if she just guessed it. Either was equally as likely, as his passwords were variants of Endeavor. For example, his bank password was EndeavorBooty69, and his email password was Daddy Endeavor. Not the most secure, but always very satisfying to enter, and difficult to forget. There. Rumi handed him his phone back. What did you do? He asked. Well, you know the first rule of breakups, she said. Especially breakups with villains. Don't text your ex. Hawks felt the blood drain out of his face. Did you? Rumi nodded. I deleted his number. Well, now he had really failed his mission. There was no way of getting Dabi back. He wasn't sure he planned to text Dabi, but now that he couldn't, he felt another wave of sadness. Rumi. Hawk's voice was embarrassingly choked up. She rolled her eyes. Relax. He's not blocked or anything. This will just keep you from texting first. He supposed that was true, but he also doubted Dabi would text first. What reason did he have? It wasn't like they were meeting for league stuff anymore. Maybe he would text about Omelette? Hawks dropped his head into his hands. I'm so stupid. Well, I mean, yes, Rumi agreed. But it's not your fault, bud. Feelings do what they want. The heart wants what it wants, even if that's a half-burnt villain. And what a half-burnt villain his heart did. Rumi checked in and stayed over several times over the next week. Hawks was grateful for her coming and going, because otherwise he was sure he would lose track of days. His curtains were drawn, and he spent most of his time watching bad rom-coms and crying into his new stock of ice cream. He kept watching Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again for inspiration. Donna Sheridan was one strong lady, and she was able to deal with heartbreak and raise her baby all by herself. He had to be strong. For Donna. Though I've Been Waiting for You made him sob violently and hug Omelette to himself every time. Why couldn't his life be a jukebox musical? He wanted Dabi to come back and sing SOS. Rumi, Hawk said one afternoon, I have an idea. I should find the league headquarters and stand outside with a boombox playing Careless Whisper. Hawks, that's like an 80s version of texting your ex. And I think the league would kill you for making them listen to Wham. And do you even own a boombox? Hawks pouted. I have money. I could buy a boombox. Rumi laughed. Why bother with the boombox? Just saturate him yourself. Rumi, you're a genius. Hawk stood. Rumi pulled him back down. Don't you dare. It's a huge bus with someone briefing beforehand, so it's gonna be a couple of days before I could check on you again. You gonna be good? Rumi was a blessing that Hawks didn't deserve. He shot her a thumbs up. I'll be fine. I'll be dandy. Swell even. She ruffled his hair. I don't believe you for a second. But all right, I won't have my phone on me most of the time. So, if you're having issues, you're gonna have to rely on someone else for once. Okay. He lied. There was no way he was going to ask for anyone else's help. You're stupid. Love ya. She punched him lightly in the arm before leaving his apartment. Left alone, Hawks flopped onto his nest near to Omelette. Oh, Omelette. Hawks sighed dramatically. It's just you and me. I wish we could be frolicking around a Greek island and singing ABBA, but at last, Omelette was getting pretty big. He candled him the day he kicked Dabi out, and it looked like he was taking up pretty much the entire egg. It'd been something like 10-ish weeks since he laid Omelette. He would be nearly in the first trimester in human pregnancy. But at this point, Hawks was pretty sure Omelette was not growing at a rate of a normal human fetus. He was moving around and squirming, which was beyond cool to feel through the egg. At this point, Hawks was certain that Omelette could hear. It was comforting to know that there was someone to listen to him talk. Plus, talking to your baby helped them learn, and Hawks wanted his baby to be as smart as possible. He needed all the help he could get, since he had Dabi's genes. What am I gonna name you? Hawks pondered. I could name you anything I want. There's nobody to disagree with me, he said to cheer himself up, and it just made him feel lonely. I could name you Engie, if I wanted. How mad do you think Endeavor would be? How mad do you think Dabi would be? He'd probably kill me. Either way, I would die a fearly death. He found he actually really didn't want Omelette to be named Engie. For one thing, it didn't suit him. And two, Hawks found himself shockingly uninterested in upsetting Dabi. I'm giving you my surname. Hawks knew that one for sure. He had an awesome surname. So I don't think I should name you after myself. Oh, I know. You can have the name I really wanted to have when I was a kid. Kigo. Seems like an old man's name, so I thought it would be cool to be called Sora. I had a crush on a character from Kingdom's Heart. I think it was Cactus, or maybe his eyes. Anyways, what do you think? Sora Tamika. It had a nice ring to it. I think it's good. I just wish I had another input. His fingers itched to text Dabi, but he knew his number wasn't there. Maybe it was good that Rumi deleted it. Sora. He tried out. Sora. Maybe nothing feels right because you're just Omelette to me? What'd you say? Omelette Tamaki? He rolled Omelette into his lap. Maybe I just gotta wait until I could see you to know what suits you. I can't wait to meet you, you know? Omelette must have been asleep because the egg didn't wiggle in his grip, as it often did nowadays. Hawks drew a hand gently across the surface of his egg. His baby was in there. Even after all this time, it was mind-boggling to think of the fact that he had a baby. Hawks froze. His heart stopped. Time itself stopped. With a shaky hand, he ran his fingers over Omelette's shell and yelped. There was no mistaking it. Omelette was cracked. God! No! No, they still haven't made up! I just want them to make up! I did not order a side of Angst with my... Angst was one of the tags. I should have seen this. McCafe will burn in the deepest pit of hell. What? Sorry, I just saw my Instagram, not my Instagram, my TikTok feed. But, I just want them to make up. I just want them to make up. I want them to kiss. I want them to smooch. And I want them to be happy in a happy little family. But no, we have to have angst. No. Okay. Chapter 8, the last chapter. Again, you're probably going to have like 2. It's actually looking more like 3 parts. Hold up. Let me check. How long is this chapter? I'm checking how long this chapter is. Or not, because it's actually really fucking long. I'm over here thinking that this series is going to end soon. But this seems like really fucking long. Let me check. It is actually really long. I'm still sorry if you're hearing that. It's still scrolling. Well, I mean, it's not a lot of like big dialogue in the sense of blobs. So maybe it's not that long. How many words? I need to know. How many words? Also, I need to very much see Mamma Mia. Okay, there you go. I'll scroll through that. Okay. Word count, and then paste. 13,000, almost 14,000. Yeah, no, you're getting like 4 parts. This shit is not over soon, but it's probably gonna be over by the end of the week. At the most, you're probably gonna get 5 parts, depending on how I'm feeling. Summary. Oh, and one more thing for your mission. Shigaraki called when Dabi was on his way out. Text Hawks. I love that. I love how Shigaraki's like, I cannot get over you. Just text them. Oh, there's another part of this. Scandal. Who's the number 2 hero's baby daddy? It's a pretty lengthy one. Can be read by itself. This fig is a big kid now. It does not need to be accompanied by an adult to ride the roller coaster. Woo. Oh, I love that. I love that little thing. Oh my god, that is hilarious. That is so funny. I love that. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely probably read that one as well. Just to add it into here. This is it. This is the end, the final chapter. Okay, whatever. Point taken is, I'm excited to read that. It's probably gonna be 4 or 5 parts. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching. I try to add more energy into that. I'm tired now.